Number one, there are more than 140 laws within the Constitution, within the legal framework and on statute in this country that is perceived, which is correctly race-based laws. That's number one. America frowned upon that.
But one of the fundamental ways in which this new Amendment Act goes far further is that it puts extreme penalties on companies for not achieving quotas set by the minister.
Taking place in November this year. We are looking forward to a very successful G20 meeting this year, even though the United States said they may not come. But we are proceeding. And we are going to make sure that it's a success. Bayatanda noma batand.
My view is that Donald Trump is contributing in this debate which is going on. And in the process of contribution, Donald Trump made a similar contribution that were made by white people, all of them, in the hearings, in the public hearings. Donald Trump is not saying anything we have not heard from white people. In all.
And I think that that's going to be fundamentally important. I think we've seen definitely a cutback on aid from some foreign donor countries. And we've obviously seen the drama with the tariffs now, which is obviously going to affect market access for African agricultural products. And so we do need to find ways as the African continent to navigate these new choppy waters. And I think that through regional integration and focusing on things like continental infrastructure, how do we move agricultural goods and products around the continent? This has been a challenge over many decades. And that's why you see such a large importation of food into Africa. We probably have more.
We had a previous employment equity regime that was passed, I think it was 26 or 27 years ago. And that one allowed companies to set targets to achieve more equity in their workplaces for designated groups, which are people of color, women and people with disabilities.
Yet this is a 2-year-old case. It's only coming to court now, but it was implemented, the action was implemented 2 years ago. The GNU holds steady, and we've had engagements with the parties in the GNU, and particularly the ANC. I think it's in South Africa's interest that a strong, stable government with a majority big enough to be able to pass legislation is important. We are actively participating in the next phase of the budget to try and get a credible budget through Parliament, and we're committed to working within the GNU for economic growth and jobs.
There's a benchmark that has to be reached to qualify as fair discrimination under Section 9.2. And this Act fails that benchmark test 100%, we believe. And that is the primary constitutional argument that we will be making in court. We have a technical argument.
The issues within my own department that were raised by some trade unions about saying, but you know, this is a black economic transformation. It's genuine ground-up transformation being led by the sector and the industry that's empowering small-scale farmers to be turned into commercial farmers and giving people who've been historically deprived of access to value chains a look in on value chains. And that's how you should be doing empowerment from the ground up, really empowering the people who need it the most. We don't...
Which is the Equality Clause, forbids discrimination on a whole host of grounds. Section 9.2 says there is such a thing as fair discrimination to redress the legacy of the past. But that is not a blunt instrument. Any discrimination that is deemed to be fair has to be proved to be fair. You can't just do anything in the name of redress and claim it is fair discrimination.
The people who need it the most. We don't need any more fat cats. We need people on the ground being empowered to be able to grow their businesses, employ more people, and contribute.
Initiative in the 1990s, which brought us down to 52 race laws total in South Africa in the year 1996. That is the floor of race law in South Africa. We've never had fewer than that since 1910. But since 1994, the Democratic Parliament, the mostly ANC-led parliament, has adopted 117 race laws. Now that is 37% of all the race laws ever adopted.
But more importantly, the excuse that they have used on DEI is that's part of the Constitution of South Africa, if they knew anything about South Africa. And the Afro Forum messengers surely influenced their biases. They're all white nationalists that and tribalists that this egregious and I'm quoting the title of it, addressing a